Hey everyone! So today we're going to talk about stress and the way it affects our healing process. So there are many different factors that can affect our healing process, and stress is just one of those factors. So Justin, when you're talking with your patients about the healing process, how do you bring up stress as it relates to healing?
I just tell them not to be stressed. It's so easy. When you're stressed, if someone says don't be stressed,
Yeah.
I find it helps a lot.
Yeah.
No.
It makes them way more stressed.
That's usually a great way to get hit or kicked,
Yeah.
depending on the body part you're working on. So
Yeah.
the way I always explain it to people is that stress is like a survival instinct.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you are stressed, your body dedicates all of its resources to keeping you alive and making you survive. So if you're like a caveman, you're being chased by a tiger, you need to keep running and keep going and do this. But you're not going to dedicate any resources to healing.
Right.
And so that's kind of how I explain it.
Yeah.
I try not to tell them not to be stressed. It really doesn't. Not a great ending.
Yeah.
I don't know what. Do you have things that you find that work well for people to? Because it's normal to be stressed, like you're hurt.
Of course, yeah, of course. I think it's hard because I think a lot of the people that we work with find stress relief through exercise.
Yeah.
And so then they're hurt, and so they don't have that outlet for stress relief. So then they kind of have to figure out something else to do. The way that I tend to look at it, a lot of people don't even realize that maybe they are more stressed, one, because of their injury process, but two, they may not even realize that it's affecting their injury process. I like to try to tell people to find something that they enjoy doing and maybe try to find a way to do more of that while they're in this injured process. So whether if they can't run, maybe they can go for walks. Because if running got them outside and they liked to do something outside, then maybe they can go for walks outside, or something that they can do while they're injured that they enjoy, that's going to help them calm down, help them feel more like themselves. I think that helps with the stress that they're feeling.
Yeah. I think also if you have like team sport athletes or individual athletes, depending on how you do things, but I always try to make sure that team sport athletes go and do things with their team so that they stay part of the team. Yeah, because I think, especially if you're a youth athlete, you're in high school, you're in middle school and college, all your friends are on the team, and all of a sudden you can't go to practice because you're injured, and now you're not. You have this like social stress and social anxiety that goes with it.
Right.
And so that's not helpful at all.
Right.
I think that people really underestimate the effect that stress has on it. Mm-hmm. It also has a big effect on decreasing pain levels. And so same idea as like being chased by the tiger, right? If you are really stressed, your body's on edge, it's really alert, it pays more attention to those pain.
All the pain you're feeling,
Yeah, and so everything hurts more. Your body is essentially like cranked up the amplifier.
For sure. And you have increased muscle tension, which causes more pain. So it affects your whole body,
Everybody's sort of felt it, right? If you've been stressed at work or home or with anything, right? You've sort of felt how you don't sleep as good. Your diet probably isn't as great. There's a lot of studies like cortisol makes you start to crave like sweet, salty foods and kind of the things that we might say like, stay away from those if we're trying to heal. And so all of a sudden you don't realize it, but your body is unintentionally pushing you towards things that are not helping.
Right.
Speaking of helping, if you made it this far into the video, we need your help. So jump down, subscribe to the channel, share everything with your friends, like the video. Now that we got that annoying YouTube mandatory thing out of the way. So do you have things that you find work for people who are stressed and sort of having trouble getting over that idea or even just realizing that they're stressed?
I think that's the biggest thing. Realizing that they're stressed is I think the first step for people to maybe trying to find something that they can do that will relieve their stress. A lot of people, like I said before, don't know that stress will affect their healing, but don't realize how stressed they are. And so I usually will have, if we're having trouble trying to get that last little bit better, or, you know, they're stalling or for whatever reason, I do have a conversation with people and try to look at, you know, not just the patient and the injury that they're having, but sort of what their whole life looks like as a whole at that time, and see if we can figure out a way that whatever is causing them stress, maybe outside of the injury, if we can try to decrease some of the stress that they're experiencing at work or in their life or something like that. Something that they can control, trying to find a way that we can decrease the stress that they can control. That's a conversation I have with people. Do you have anything that you really, everyone's different. And
I find it's a very individual thing, and some people really talking about it almost makes it makes them more stressed.
Yes.
I try to get people to have as much control, similar to what you were saying, over everything. So where I might want to prescribe a specific exercise regimen, or I want you to do it 5 days a week or something, I try to give them more choices in that stuff, so that it's more of a thing they have control over, as opposed to something else that someone is telling them to do.
Right.
Or if you could build it into things, you know, if you're a soccer player, we might try to send the information to the coach, and this way they have you do it. So it's just, you're going to practice and it's part of the team activity, instead of this different thing that you have to do.
Right. Yeah. Instead of saying you have to now add an hour to your day, you know, 5 days a week.
Right.
Yeah. Trying to incorporate it better. Yeah.
I think that's another thing we talk about, time, and sometimes the time it takes to rehab things can be an added stressor of just when am I going to fit that in?
Right.
And so one strategy for that is we'll try to have people bundle their exercises with things they do every day. So it's kind of like, all right, you're going to do this while your coffee's brewing, and then after you go to the bathroom, you're going to do this. And before you sit back down at your desk, you're going to do that. And sometimes that can help too.
Yeah, I agree with that. We're splitting the day, do some in the morning before work, some at night when you get home. Yeah. That works. Yeah.
But yeah, I think if you find that your healing might be slower than you expected to, this is definitely something for you to examine in yourself and just sort of look in and say, all right, how stressed am I right now? And it might be a bunch of things you don't have control over, and in which case it's helpful to just be okay with that timeline and where you are, and don't add to your stress by feeling like a failure because this isn't healing at the specific rate. Just let yourself, you know, be where you are at that time, and then you'll get where you need to go as time allows.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Nice. Good. All right. Well, we'll put a link to the blog post down below, so you can definitely go and check that out. And I'd love to know kind of what strategies you guys have, so throw some of that down in the comments, and we'll see you back here next time.